Hey, we're giving you 9 clues to prove that Fox left after Fives' death. Clue number 1. Fox's duty is to protect. He's highly decorated and has rightly earned it. Plus, he's one of the few who's disillusioned with the Jedi.
I see now I've done terrible things. But you started when you murdered my father. I'll never forgive you.
Well, you're going to have to. Take him away.
Be allowed in there.
I don't care what she's accused of.
Let me in.
We've pointed out that Fox doesn't repeat mistakes. After the generator bomb blew, he took his duties more seriously. He's closer with his brothers than most commanders because he leads from the front and works directly beside them, no matter the job. He cares so much that he was willing to kill Ahsoka for just 3 dead men, but he's also smart enough to listen and hold back because of a trusted source.
Suspect has killed 3 clones. Code red. If you see the target, shoot to kill.
Belay that order, Commander Fox.
She's killed troopers. I know, Commander Tano. She would never do something like this. Then who did?
With Fives, he did his best to handle a no-win situation. He orders him to stand down but was forced to shoot him. Fox is an investigator by trade and guilt-ridden by nature. We speculate that Fox would have investigated even if it's only to justify his death. Clue 2. When you count how many men Fox sends on missions, you start to notice things. He takes a handful to save Padme from Zero, a handful for Jar Jar, the Generators, Bane, Palpatine, Ahsoka, and Fives. Then you get Thorn. He takes 85 men to protect 2 senators. Fox never sends more than he thinks are necessary. The only time you see Fox using an excessive amount of men is when he's chasing Ahsoka towards the pipes. The reason for this is because he's on prison grounds. Fox needs his men to maintain the prison, so sending as few as possible outside is his best option. Sending 2 ships plus 6 men after the temple bombing is actually a standard amount for dealing with a possible riot, given the size of the crowd. Fox would never have agreed to send almost 100 of his men to protect 2 senators. It's wasteful. Clue 3. When we meet Commander Thorn, we're shown this epic-looking commander. Emphasis on epic-looking. He is dressed to impress, but doesn't act like he knows what he's doing. Let me show you in this mistakes count.
It looks like an invasion fleet, sir. We're caught out here in the open. Get the men off this landing pad and beyond the city gates. Senator Amidala, come in, please.
What is it, Commander Thorn?
We're under attack by the Separatist garrison. Looks to be a full invasion.
Invasion?
We can't get to you. I suggest you get to a ship as soon as you can. Let's move! Hurry!
If you haven't noticed, his men are reacting faster and sooner than him. They have been trained by Fox. Let's review. Thorn has none of this training. Clue 4. Thorn doesn't know how his men work. His men are shooting the droids without him ordering them because they see what needs to be done. He's taking too long to give them a battle plan. He looks lost while his men are doing their jobs. Also, the only reason they get shot down so quickly is that they're used to single targets in front of them, not being surrounded by an army. Technically, they are calling out his inexperience by acting without real orders. His one order was sound, but the method of delivery cost them their lives. This brings up clue number 5. Who would Fox have chosen to lead the mission? We suspect Commander Stone. Due to Stone's experience protecting Jar Jar and having learned to think outside the box, he'd be the perfect candidate.
We're not gonna last long in here.
Don't worry. As long as those beasties are up there, we're safe. When they run, we run. See? Misa knew it was safe since the beasties are nearby.
Those pirates are on speeders. How are we gonna catch them?
Misa be having an idea.
Representative Binks, we're going to need your services for this part of the mission.
Oh, sir. Misa?
Yes, sir. You are the Senate representative. We need you to go out there and negotiate with the pirates. Sir, they're taking Representative Binks hostage. Get ready. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Nice work, sir.
Fox wouldn't have sent Thorn due to his inexperience and chatty nature. We've noticed that Fox and his men don't waste words. If anything, they pack a lot of info into as few words as possible. Even Stone and Thyre do this. Thorn says in 30 words what he could have said in 6. If Fox trained him, he would have used his words more effectively. Clue 6. If you watch Thorn, he doesn't have a strategy. He just shoots at moving targets. Fox, when he shoots, at least has a strategy behind it. Shooting at Ahsoka forces her to the ground. Twice. Shoot at 0 to get him to stay put. Kill 5s to protect his men. Thorn takes 3 to 9 shots to take down one droid where it takes his men 1 shot and done. Even if they're outnumbered. Thorn had perfect opportunity to blast 2 ships, but waits until after the 3rd ship behind him kills everyone before shooting, compromising their survival. Fox prefers to give his brothers time by shooting before the enemy can get the advantage. He knows that time is lives. We calculated that Thorn got 86 men killed, including himself. When Fox makes the decision to let the droids in, he only gets 14 or so people killed. Both were rookies at the time. Thorn saw it coming, but Fox wasn't looking for sneaky droids. So Fox would have every reason not to send Thorn. Thorn only went because he was the current commander of that position. He had to take that position because someone left it open. Now we go into Thyre. We will only call him Thyre because he's the only Coruscant guard we've seen before this point who wears the shoulder thing, unless canonically stated otherwise. Clue 7. In both the movie and the Bad Batch, Fox hasn't appeared, but Thyre seems to be in charge in both. In Revenge of the Sith, Thyre is the one reporting Palpatine, but when Fives was loose, Fox was the one reporting Palpatine. Something happened and had to happen to Fox before Order 66 for Thyre to take that place. Due to his sudden command change, Thyre is left to handle everything. Clue 8. When it comes to the clones, the color and pattern tells you a lot about their unit. Their weapons will tell you a lot about the individual. The guards' matching patterns is a strict and respectful environment. The cleanliness tells you that they don't get off-world very often. Their scars and scuffs tell you that they get into a lot of hand-to-hand combat, most likely training. The color inverse to their commander indicates their loyalty to Fox, and that's just the prison guards. Fox's armor has scratches on the face and forearms, indicating that it wasn't uncommon for him to get into fights, mostly resorting to blocks and dodges. At least one with claws tried to take his head off. His thick paint job makes him immediately recognizable as a fox. Thorn paints wings on his helmet, something Fox would not have let him get away with because it makes him look like an idiot with a fat target on his head. His one-coat pattern matches the troops to show off his unit. It's got minor scuffs on the helmet and shoulders. The major scuffs and scars are on the elbows, but then comes the unnecessary amount of commander gear and medals on his chest. This tells all the clones around him that he's new, lacks confidence in his ability, and lands on his shoulders and elbows a lot during advanced hand-to-hand training. He also carries a rotary blaster, which is a no-no in the Coruscant Guard because it's hard to control in a crowded area. Put down the gun or I'll shoot. Don't worry, I'll save you. Oops. And clue 9. After thinking on someone's comment on a previous video, clone unit's gonna have multiple commanders at the same time, but it's not true that Fox stopped being the commander of the Coruscant Guard just because the next commander we see is Thorn. I got to thinking, what if Thorn isn't replacing Fox, but Stone in Thayer's position? After Fox leaves, Palpatine handpicks Thayer as Fox's replacement. He understands the system, but isn't nearly as clever. Stone then takes Thayer's position, and they call Kamino for a replacement commander for his old position. Thorn is brought in and dies a week or so into the job. Thayer could not be the commander of the entire Coruscant Guard if there wasn't an opening. So technically, yes, a sign that Fox stopped being commander of the Coruscant Guard is Thorn, but not for the reasons we originally thought in previous videos. So technically, you could be right. Although it would make more sense if they were captains for those positions and not commanders. Plus, Star Wars goes out of its way to explain why certain people didn't show up in the movies. Rex and Ahsoka both have entire storylines that aren't in the movies. And the writers have to make sure Anakin never met Grievous face to face because of a single line. Isn't it entirely possible they do the same for Fox? Is Star Wars not about hope and redemption? That's what we got. Bye!